Hey there, it's another beautiful day and I've got my coffee. Let's watch some stuff.
This guy built a motorcycle that runs on water, and now the governments are after him. This motorcycle can travel 100 kilometers on just 1 liter of water. Imagine how much money countries who rely on selling oil would lose if this became a thing. The guy showed how his motorcycle works. First, he opens the lid on the big metal container and fills it with regular tap water. Then, he throws some wood you find on the side of the road into the container to burn and make it hot. As the water heats up, it turns into steam. This steam builds up pressure inside the machine, like blowing up a balloon. The pressure is sent through tubes and valves to the wheels of the motorcycle. A little bit of oil is added to make the engine run smoothly. When there's enough pressure, a lever is flipped to let the steam out. The steam pushes on pistons inside the engine, which makes the wheels turn and the motorcycle move forward. This motorcycle can even go pretty fast, up to 60 kilometers per hour on country roads. And here's the best part. While you heat up the water to power the motorcycle, you can also use the leftover heat to cook food. This motorcycle is perfect for both travel and cooking. Would you buy this motorcycle if you could?
That was just a steam engine. I don't think governments are out to get his little barbecue steam engine bike. I think he's going to be okay. We don't need to worry about him. He's going to be just fine. That's very ingenuitive though. Very cool. I like it. I totally want one, except it's a gigantic barbecue on the back of a bike. Excuse me while I pop in here a second, and thank you so much for joining me for today's coffee talk. If you're having a good time, maybe you'd consider hitting that subscribe button and come back tomorrow, because I'm making a new video every day.
Shall we check in with our celebrities and see what they're up to? Hold on, this isn't even that bad. So Chloe did a photo shoot for Tomorrow Magazine with an apple. Then there's this picture. I showed this to a couple people and they said, what's the big deal? First off, the big deal is that this doesn't trigger many people. We are in a world, we are in a time where we are so surrounded by evil and so conditioned to seeing evil that we don't even recognize it anymore. This moment in time, this act right here, is the single moment that contributed to the fall of mankind. Eve ate the apple because of a lie that Satan told her. And now they're taking that moment that represents sin and making artwork out of it. If this is just, when I saw this, my jaw dropped because it's just so nonchalant for so many people. It's not even making headlines. Nobody's really talking about it because to most people it's like, what's the big deal? It's representing the fall of mankind. This is the fall of mankind right here. For her to model it, for her to make artwork out of it, it's so sad. And here we are a few thousand years later, all walking around with a phone in our hands that has an apple on the back with a bite out of it.
Did she just say that iPhones are the devil? I think she said something along those lines. Personally, I'm one of those people that doesn't get all triggered about that. But I do understand why some individuals do get triggered. And in this great country, we are allowed to not get triggered by your religious beliefs or anybody else's religious beliefs for that matter, or even my religious beliefs. We're allowed to not get triggered by other people's religious beliefs. That's kind of the freedom of religion that we have here. It's a beautiful thing. But I do get what she's saying, and I do appreciate her concern. However, I don't share that opinion. Doesn't make it less valid.
The red heifer prophecy is happening on Eid. So many Muslims are freaking out because of the red heifer prophecy, which is a Christian and Jewish prophecy that says once Israel sacrifices its 10th red calf, this will summon their Messiah, otherwise known as the Judge. And apparently they're planning this on Eid day.
Now, the exact date that they have planned to do this ritual is on Eid. For those of you who don't know, this is the last day of Ramadan. Now, they didn't pick that day at random. This is a very, very specific moment. During Ramadan, all the shaitan are locked up. So any kind of demonic antichrist rituals they're trying to do can't work until Ramadan's over. So they're waiting for the exact time that Ramadan ends to be able to do this ritual.
Now, of course, this is not a Muslim prophecy and we cannot say if it's 100% true. But if it is, this could mean we're living in the end of time and we must start preparing for Dajjal's arrival.
Okay. I have seen so many posts about these red heifers, and it's usually like the PETA organization type people that are freaking out about this cow that is supposed to be sacrificed. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about it. I know that there's also a lot of speculation that isn't necessarily accurate surrounding this particular ritual. So I did find another video that I think is going to explain it a little bit more, but let's check it out.
According to Mosaic law, burning the ashes of a red heifer is a mandatory act for beginning the temple offering to God. The ashes of the red heifer is a key element in a biblically mandated purification ritual. These ashes are required for purification in a range of situations, including contact with dead bodies. Numbers chapter 19. Now, with all the bloodshed on the Temple Mount down through the centuries, the mount itself must be cleansed before the temple can be built. According to the Torah, Moses prepared the first red heifer, and from that time until the destruction of the temple, only 9 heifers were prepared. There has been no proper red heifer in Israel for the past 2,000 years. The difficulties of finding red heifers anywhere is that they are not only rare, but the animal must meet the requirements as stipulated in the Torah and in the Oral Talmud. The 5 main criteria for establishing the proper red heifer for the holy purpose of purification are: it should be completely red with no spot or blemish. Actually, the heifer can have no more than 2 non-red hairs, and the hooves also must be red. It must be a female. Heifers are female. It must never have been used for labor. It must never have been pregnant, and it must be between 3 to 4 years old. In Judaism, this prophecy signals the coming of a time that includes the return of biblical laws of purity, thus allowing for truly holy life. For evangelical Christians, it heralds the end of days, the return of Jesus to earth, and the rapture. This belief has long driven Christian Zionism and Christian lobbying on behalf of Israel. In September 2022, through a joint effort established between a Christian ministry and the Temple Institute in Jerusalem, 5 red heifers from Texas were transported to Jerusalem and now graze at a secure, undisclosed location in the Israeli-occupied West Bank.
All right, so I did a little bit of research because that didn't help me out too much. Apparently, this is a very religious ceremony, and it's actually, if you Google it, it says a lot of several different religions actually use this red heifer, but this one they say it is being used to cleanse somebody who came in contact with a human corpse or bones or a gravesite. And the priest is supposed to burn the red heifer to ash, and the ash is mixed with spring water, and then that water is sprinkled on these individuals to make them pure again. And then until the evening, then the priest will wash his clothes in specific kind of water. I can't recall, and then he shall become clean again. It's really interesting. I totally understand religions and their sacrificial needs and people getting all freaked out about it. But there is one part that kind of freaked me out. Is apparently one of these religious rituals, the water is supposed to be drawn and carried by 2 children who were born and reared in isolation to prevent them from coming in contact with any human corpse. So that's a little worse than a cow and what they plan on doing with the cow. These children were reared in isolation. Nobody's saying anything about that.
This does not happen. Something is going on here. I agree with this guy 120%. I was in the U.S. Coast Guard for
15 years. I spent hundreds of hours. I have multiple qualifications, standing watch on board the bridge of a ship, including navigating, steering, doing a lookout watch. Spent a lot of time up there with a vessel such as this that crashed into the bridge. There's just no reason why this should have happened whatsoever. It just seems so suspicious because of the technology, and ships like this have the best technology. There's just no way this should happen. There's redundant systems. There's supposed to be always supposed to be a lookout, especially when you're navigating in on a channel like this. But my professional opinion, my experience, there's just no way this should have happened, and something just seems oddly suspicious coming from someone that was in the Coast Guard for 15 years. That's all I have to say.
That's something that I've heard quite a bit in the last few days, is that there are multiple fail safes and redundant steering systems for these vessels. How could they all go out? I mean, what were they not doing to try to stop this vessel?
Did Putin really just talk about Black Jesus? And if so, then why isn't the whole world talking about this? Everyone's seeing a bridge collapse. Everyone's seeing Diddy's house being raided. Listen.
We stand on the precipice of a monumental revelation, a moment that defines not only our understanding of history, but also the path forward for our great nation. In an extraordinary discovery hidden beneath centuries of lore and legend, we have opened what can only be described as the oldest vault known to mankind. What we found within its ancient confines challenges the very fabric of our beliefs and heralds a new dawn for our country. Within this vault, we discovered figures of biblical proportions, characters that many have read about, debated, and revered. These figures, preserved against the sands of time, reveal a truth that is as profound as it is transformative. They are all black. This revelation, this undeniable truth, stands before us not as a contradiction to our faith, but as a testament to the diversity and unity that faith embodies. As your president, I see this moment not as a challenge to our beliefs, but as an opportunity to embrace a wider, more inclusive understanding of our history and spirituality.
So when I searched on the internet, I kept finding that everything was false. It's false. It's false. But isn't that how most things are that are actually true? Comment below what you think about Black Jesus. And what do I think? I think that it doesn't matter what color Jesus was. He died for our sins. And I...
So what do you think? Do you think that was real? Do you think that was just a whole bunch of hooey? And does it matter? Does it matter, really, what color Jesus actually was? Let me know what you think. And let me know if you think that this just got steamrolled.
Why do some people think that World War II Germany had super advanced tech? Well, in the grand scheme of things, they did. But there's this conspiracy that I'm not saying is true about a more mystical technology that they had called Die Glocke, which Die Glocke was this giant bell that some claim existed that was basically anti-gravity technology. It was said to be about 12 feet tall, be highly radioactive, and produce a glowing blue light, and basically be like a Taco Bell flying saucer. And allegedly they had to build this concrete ring called the hinge, which really assembled stone hinge for some reason, in order to tether it for tests. But at the end of the war, a German officer called Hans Kammler traded this tech to the US military in exchange for his freedom, which German World War II people trading knowledge to the US for freedom was definitely something real that actually happened. Look up Operation Paperclip. But this whole bell thing is claimed to be a hoax by mainstream reviewers, so tell me what you think in the comments and follow for more.
I'm going to find out which video it was, but there was one of my early videos where they had shown a device like that where this person was riding around it. And I said it looked like one of those. It looked like a Dalek, right? And a person was riding around. It was floating around. And I want you to go check that video out. It's one of my earlier ones, so I do apologize. It's a little cringy. Well, a little cringier than they are now. But yeah, and then let me know if you think that those are the same things, because that's interesting. Today, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. If there's a topic that you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try to get into it. in one of my next videos, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I don't have a cutting room floor today. I'm sorry. I will have one tomorrow, I promise. But still, have a wonderful day.